Okay, so Unit 2 is based on the marketing mix. And I know you guys are very familiar, should be familiar with the marketing mix, right? What it entails, what are the principles of the marketing mix, what are the 4 Ps or the 7 Ps of marketing? How has marketing changed, from like 10 years before, prior to the 21st century? How have marketing changed? How has it evolved from traditional marketing to digital marketing or modern marketing, right? So the marketing mix plays a very, very important and crucial role. And remember, for each of your learning outcomes, even for Unit 1, I hope you guys went over your Unit 1, right? Learning outcomes for each of your units are very, very important, right? Because it is what you should be able to understand by the end of that specific unit. So for example, Unit 2 is the marketing mix. The learning outcomes are as follows. By the end of this unit, you need to now discuss the basic marketing principles and concepts. So what are these basic marketing concepts or principles? You also need to determine the role and functions of the marketing within a range of organizations. You must be able to analyze the impact and the importance of branding and describe the decisions that marketers are required to make and, of course, implement, right? So these are some of the learning outcomes in your Unit 2 that you need to focus on. In your study guide, it provides more in detail what your learning outcomes are as follows, and you need to also understand what they are. Okay, so as you read through your unit, as you go through these concepts, the definitions, the principles, the importance, and as you understand it, so when you come back after reading all your notes, when you come back to your learning outcomes, you are able to test yourself on each of your learning outcomes and see if you understand, if you're able to analyze, if you're able to determine, discuss, and describe the functions in the marketing mix as well, or in Unit 2 overall, okay? So with the marketing mix, basically it starts off with the 4 basic Ps, right? As we all know, product, price, place, and promotion. But this takes view on the more traditional side, because remember, it's no more just the 4 Ps, right? Which we know. It's advanced now. In today's marketing, it's more of the 7 Ps and how we include it in our marketing plan, right? Which we'll discuss in detail. But we first need to understand what is a marketing mix, right? You guys are also free to share your comments on the chat box there. How would you define the marketing mix, right? You can share your opinions as well on the chat box. So in terms of what are we saying is the marketing mix is a selection of marketing tools that include several areas of focus, right? That can be combined to create a comprehensive and effective plan. So the term refers to the 4 Ps, like your product, price, place, promotion. But later on, it has expanded to the 7 Ps, which included, people, processes, packaging as well. So it has changed. The marketing mix has evolved into the 7 Ps. So apart from just being the 4 Ps, it's now known as the 7 Ps of marketing as well, right? And here it gives you a more comprehensive overview of what the marketing mix is, not just saying it's the 4 Ps, but if you are to be asked in your assessment, so how would you define the marketing mix? You must be able to define it. As a marketing student, you have to be able to think from a marketing perspective. Yes, we know it includes the 4 Ps, which is very important, and the 7, but it's more than just naming the 4 Ps, right? Remember I said it's a marketing tool. The marketing mix is a marketing tool, right? So effective marketing touches on a broad range of areas, right? So it includes how we can use the 4 Ps. In basic terms, it means how can we use the 4 Ps, right, in our marketing strategy. So how can we use our 7 Ps in our marketing strategy, which aligns with a business goal? Very important, especially in the marketing department. your marketing strategies, your marketing initiatives, your marketing campaigns all have to align with the business strategy, right? It has to align with what the business wants to achieve. That's how you go about planning your marketing mix according to what the business wants, according to where the business is heading or the business goals, right? That is very, very, very crucial, right? And you have to understand that. So when we touch on a product, okay, we know what a product is. We know that a product is something tangible, something that you know you can touch. It is designed to satisfy customer needs and wants. And to effectively market a product or service, it's important to identify what differentiates it from its competitors. You know what the competitors are offering or products or services they're offering. It is also important to determine if other products or services can be marketed. So when we say product, right, I don't want you guys to get confused. When we say product, it also refers to your services. Product is named as one of the 4 Ps, but it also includes your services with it. Okay. So whatever the business is offering, rather a product or a service, it falls under the product P, right, of the marketing mix. And then if you look at the price, when we speak on the price, we look at the sale price of the product, which reflects what customers are willing to pay for it, right? So marketing professionals need to consider costs related to research and development, manufacturing, marketing, and distribution, otherwise known as cost-based pricing. So pricing is also very important because remember, even with pricing, you don't want to overcharge customers. Maybe for the same product, your customers are offering at a much lower price. So you have to be in line with competitors or even lower, right, than your competitors. In order to survive in the industry, you have to be in line with the competitors' prices or lower. It cannot be higher because then they won't support what you are selling to them, right? Um, and some of the questions when you for example, are creating your pricing strategy, you can ask yourself, or like I said, from a marketing point of view, right? You need to ask yourself questions regarding your pricing because it's so sensitive, right? Will you be offering higher end versions at an additional cost? Do you need to cover costs right away? Or can you set a lower price and consider it an investment in growth? Will you offer sales promotions? How long can you go without people questioning your quality? How can you go before consumers think you're overpriced? Are you perceived as a value brand or a premium brand? Now, these are some of the questions you can ask yourself when in terms of developing your pricing strategy, right? Of course, there are much more intricate or detailed questions, but those are just some of the questions you can ask regarding pricing. So what place where consumers can purchase your product or service is very important, right? So place plays a very crucial role. So you have to do market research that inform your products on pricing decisions that will thereafter inform your placement or where you're going to sell your products and services. So questions you can look at is where will people be looking for your product? Will they need to hold it in their hands? Like, are you selling something tangible or is it a service, like, for example, a hair salon or a nail salon, right? Will you get more sales by marketing directly to customers from your own e-commerce website, or will buyers be looking for you on third-party marketplaces? You can also analyze and ask questions like, do you want to converse directly with your customers as they purchase, or do you want a third party to solve customer issues? Right, so third party is, of course, an intermediary or someone that stands as like a middleman, right? Then you have promotion. Now, your promotion campaigns are very important. The activities you use in order to promote your product, to get your product, across to your customers, how a customer is going to know about your product. So, what promotional channels you use is very, very crucial. And also, you need to use promotional channels that are cost effective, that are relative to your target audience, and it must be able to, of course, make a difference in what promotional channels you are using in order to communicate your products, in order to get your what you're selling to your customers, they need to become aware of it. And how you do it via online platforms, digital platforms, maybe, for example, you decide it's more cost effective to do it via social media posts, right? Maybe on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. You find that there's more potential for customers to interact with your product or services online. And maybe you also decided you want to also offer your product face to face, do promotion activities face to face where you have discounts, where you have campaigns where customers can come in, and you can interact with the customers, employees interact with the customers. So there's different various um, advertising activities that can be engaged when you're promoting your product and service. And this is very important because also it's very costly. So you have to use the best platform that is cost effective, but will also reach a wide range or coverage of potential customers, which will allow you as a business to grow. The more customers you have, as you know, the more bigger your business will grow, the more success you will have as a business. So as you can see, it just sums up what we explained with the 4Ps: the product, anything of value to the customer offered through a market exchange, place, location, where the product or service is made available to customers, promotion, communication about the product and its values to customers, and price is the overall sacrifice a customer is willing to make for the product or service, right? And to just give you an example as well of discussing the 4Ps. So even when we give you like application questions in your assessments, right? So we look for real-time explanation or real-time examples. So this is an example which I thought would be very effective for you guys to help you understand the marketing mix. So this is an example, as you can see, of Coca-Cola. So what I did was I did research. I found Coca-Cola. What are the marketing mix in terms of the 4Ps? So when you are able to apply it to any situation you're given, like maybe you're given a case study in your assessments, you must be able to apply the 4Ps like how it's applied here. You see, you'll get information on your case study, and they'll tell you, maybe, for example, they might ask you to conduct a marketing mix analysis on the case study that's given. So you'll know it'll be based on the 4Ps or the 7Ps, whatever the question asks you, right? So if they say do it on the 4Ps, as you can see here with Coca-Cola, when they're describing the product, right, they're talking, of course, it's a soda beverage. That's what they're offering, that consumers can have its own and with their daily meals or as part of celebrations and get-togethers, okay? With price, you see it's reasonable, something that their target consumer can easily afford to have daily. Their pricing strategy is conditional on high volume sales at lower prices. In terms of their place, it's readily available, right? From physical storefronts. If you go to the grocery shop or if you go to the local store, you'll find their products, Coca-Cola, right? Everywhere, at every convenience stores as well, even online, right? So the idea behind it is Coca-Cola wants their products to be easily available to their customers. So their place is easy access that will encourage sales. So it's easily accessed by the shops, grocery stores, convenience stores, etc. In terms of their promotion, now since Coca-Cola targets one and all, meaning everybody, they use every other marketing channel to promote their soda. The plan is to reach as many consumers as possible. That is why you'll see billboards, you'll see television adverts, you'll see social media posts or videos online everywhere. They everywhere because they want to reach as much customers as possible, especially with competitors in the same industry. They want to still be number one, they want to still be at front, so they continuously are marketing their products, right? In order to be above competitors. Another example we have here is Red Bull. Now, with Red Bull, their marketing mix in terms of product, they, aside from their original drink, Red Bull now sells a variety of energy drinks with different tastes. For instance, They also have the sugar-free and Red Bull Total Zero without calories, right? To make it more convenient to reach a larger target audience, right? So they introduce new products. And with their price, the Red Bull's drink quality and dominant market share allow them to use a premium marketing strategy or pricing strategy. And with the place, like Coca-Cola, remember they can also be used as a substitute. So Red Bull is also readily available. Customers in over, like, say, 171 countries can buy Red Bull in the supermarkets, clubs, the bars, and in many cases, Red Bull is available in locations where the demographic needs to party or stay up till late. Okay, and the promotion is their logo or tagline is Red Bull gives you wings. So that is one of their most popular brand taglines worldwide. And if you just say the tagline, you know that it's Red Bull, right? Even with the adverts that they have created as well. So from there, you need to understand the role marketing plays in an organization, right? So at its core, marketing mix is focused on promoting a product or service to generate revenue for a company. So on the whole, it integrates key marketing strategies that create brand awareness, it builds customer loyalty, and it drives product sales. So this department in any organization is very, very important. Why? Because it creates brand awareness. It creates awareness of what you're selling to your customers. And it's done through various channels via online or via traditional methods like face-to-face or television or newspapers, magazines, etc. So there are various channels that can be used. But of course, businesses opting for more what's relevant nowadays, right? So you won't find a lot of businesses that are promoting their products or services in newspapers, or not as much will be promoting on in magazines, or they're going to look for cost effective that's relevant to the target audience. We know that most the younger generation are on their phones, tabs, laptops, computers. So they're going to be advertising online consistently using digital platforms and social media platforms as well. Right. So you have to keep up with the latest trends. And from there, another important aspect that falls under the marketing mix or marketing is branding. Right. Your branding is the perceived value of your product or services, that customers have. For example, right, we're talking about brands. For example, if you take excuse me, Nike, or if you take a brand like Nike and Adidas, right? So now we know that as customers, we have different preferences. Some of you guys will prefer Nike, some of you will prefer Adidas, but it will be on the quality, it will depend on your preference, your personal preference, it will depend on the pricing of it as well. According to your taste as customers, what would you prefer, right? We know that they have variety in Nike sneakers, clothing line, etc. Same with Adidas, but different customers will have different preferences. So they relate closer to one brand over the other. So branding is very important, especially when you're trying to generate future business. And a good brand will have no trouble in um, stirring up or developing up referral businesses. So strong branding generally means that there's a positive impression. Like a lot of people know about Nike, a lot of people know about Adidas or other famous brands out there, right? Yes. But if you're starting off as a completely new business with a new product or a new service, you have to spend a lot of time getting customers to firstly purchase your product or service, and also you have to gain customer loyalty over time, but it's built. It doesn't happen overnight. So when an employee works for a strongly branded company and truly stands behind the brand, they will be more satisfied with their job and have a higher degree of pride in the work that they do. So say, for example, you work for a huge reputed company like um, say Versace or Louis Vuitton. Of course, you're not going to leave the brand because you know it's so well established in the industry. So if you're an employee there, of course you will not leave it. Why? Because it has such a high reputation, such a high standard, and it's well known. right? So if you're employee there, you won't, of course, want to leave on any condition, right? Because the brand is really well known. And this also brings us to guidelines when you are compelling reasons to have a brand guideline, which is what you need, right? You need to focus, okay, so on personality. It defines and safeguards your brand and personality and helps your brand to stand out. Recognition is also very important. It helps build your brand, your market recognition. Value. Value recognized brands are perceived to deliver more value than those which have yet to carve a niche for themselves. Engagement, your brand will be acknowledged by consumers for its quality and integrity, and brand voice. Branding guidelines will help maintain the tone of your communication and messaging. So these are just a few guidelines that will help you as well. Um, Okay, and this brings us to the end of Unit 2. It was just a summary. If you read your notes, you will see there's much more content that is explained in detail.